Hi there, purposeful people. My name is Rachel and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be filming a video all about 18 things that I learned at 18. My birthday was just a couple days ago, September 29th, and I turned 18. So I just wanted to share what wisdom I've gained in these 18 years of life with you to hopefully help you in your own life and to inspire you as well. And if you want a tangible list of all of these lessons I've learned, go to my Instagram page at @MadeWithPurposeYT, and I have a whole post with all of these listed in the caption. Okay, so number one, trust God even when you don't understand, because His ways are always best. I've seen this play out so many times in my own life, and it's really hard to trust God in that moment when you don't understand what He's doing. But looking back on my life, there were so many instances when I was like, why is this happening? But then it doesn't make sense until you see the big picture. And so yeah, I've learned to just trust God even when I don't understand what's happening, because I know that He works all things together for the good of those who love Him. Number two is step outside of your comfort zone. This is seriously so important. I cannot emphasize this enough. In high school, I definitely stepped out of my comfort zone and found what I really loved doing. I stepped out of my comfort zone when I made this YouTube channel. I stepped outside of my comfort zone when I moved to college, and I'm experiencing all these different things of college life. And so stepping outside of your comfort zone is so integral in growing yourself and doing great things, because no great things come out of staying comfortable. Number three is notice the little things and have an attitude of gratitude. There is so much joy found in the little things of daily life. So just make notes of all the things that you're thankful for. It really changes your mindset and changes the way you look at life. I definitely consider myself an optimist, and so that is one of the things that plays a huge role in my outlook on life, is just noticing the little things throughout my day that I have to be thankful for. Number four, intentionally listen to others. There is a huge difference between hearing and listening. And so that is something I really want to emphasize to you all. You can hear someone but not truly listen to them. So I want to encourage you, if you're having a conversation with a friend or a family member, actually listen to them. Don't just think about what you're going to say next. Don't think about what you're going to contribute to the conversation. Listen to what they're saying. Sometimes all a person wants is someone to listen to them. Number five is to set goals and go after them. Don't just let them fade away. And this is kind of at myself here, because I'm still working on this. Sometimes I'll have a goal and then I realize, oh, that's just too difficult, and I just let it go away. I just don't pick it up again. And we shouldn't do that with our goals. Like, God places those goals in our hearts for a reason, and so we're to go after them and do what He's called us to do. I literally started writing like 3 books and have yet to finish any of them. And so that is just a testament to myself, like, that I need to get better at, and so I encourage you to do the same. But one goal of mine was starting this YouTube channel, and I did it, and God has really just moved in ways that